A very good morning to you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, queens and kings. Hey, mko salama. Hii baridi ya Nairobi mwenye amepatiwa tenda anatumaliza. It's really, really cold. Big up Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay ni kama kapanya. Anakuuma, anakupuliza, anakuambia pole. Mtu anakuuma, anakuambia pole, anakupuliza. Lindsay, big up on yourself to the fullest. It's okay, nimekubali. And also big up Lennox and Mr. Josh, of course, our #1 fan. But kama kawaida, each and every Tuesday, we are always here to sort out your love issues. Of course, tunaenda na month vile inaenda. Saizi ni kama tumerudi kwa mapenzi kidogo. Ni kama pale nyumbani, ni kama mambo haiko vile inafaa kukua. Lakini Bobby amenianzishia na topic ingine. Mpaka karibu ni change mind, lakini hiyo tutaiongelelea next week. Bobby ameniambia yenyewe huku nje watu wanapendwa na watu wanapendana. Ya ukweli. Na hii generation.
Ni mko tu online mnaona watu wakifight, but kwa ground mapenzi imenoga.
Really now Bobby.
Imenata, imekamata. Wacha tu.
Ebu kwa mabeste wako watano, niambie ni wangapi wako truly happy in their relationships ama marriage?
Hapo tunaenda sana.
Si ndio? Sasa ndio hiyo.
Lakini
next week hapo tunaanzia na hiyo tone, but as usual unakaa fiti. Excuse me, umekuwa mtoto mzuri.
Thank you so much.
Mtu anakuambia hivyo.
I've always been a good girl.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good. It's a bad girl gone good.
Yeah, of course raided my mom's closet as usual.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you're so lucky.
Hatuko same size sana, lakini mkiona na force mna understand too.
Si ndio? But unaka lovely as
Thank you so much. Asante.
CJ, we missed you last week.
Well, missed you the week before that as well.
Before that I wasn't there.
Right.
Ni kazi.
Yeah,
ni kazi. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Leo uko serious, leo uko official, uko serious.
No, it's just the cold, so I needed to have a blazer on. Yeah.
How is your team doing?
We're doing good.
Please don't ask me about my team.
I'm not going to ask.
Right now, I'm only talking about Chan. You know, Chan is very important and it's in my country right now. So let me first of all deal with my country, patriotism, and then we'll talk about other things later.
But they've done well, right? The boys?
Yes, the boys are doing well, yeah?
Yes.
Good stuff. It's only that things are not coming, but we're doing a great job, right?
Right.
Wow, so we start with rekindling that love. You know, watu wanakuanga kwa relationships, wako pale, wako pamoja, watu wanapendana, but it reaches a point. It's not that you don't love someone or you don't like them anymore, but that fire and that chemistry, you feel like it's gone down. It's like candle imeanza kudidimia, imeanza kuzimika kidogo. So how do we do this? How do we rekindle this love? Wacha kwanza, leo naanza na CJ. Leo ni CJ. CJ leo tuko class, by the way. It's all about you. So, CJ kwanza atuambie, ni nini inatufikishanga hapo mali ati love inafika mahali? Yes, si ati umeacha kupenda mtu, but the fire, the chemistry, of course sio venye mlianza na mtu. Maybe the way you started with someone, kuna kitu inaendaga tu ikizima, but you still respect that person, you still love them, but the chemistry is no longer there. So how do we get to this situation? Maybe we should understand that first.
You know, generally I think mostly what we call love in the beginning is an attraction. And that attraction, that's the chemistry that we have. And then the excitement of meeting a new person, the mystery around them, the things you're discovering about this person, all of that will just wow you. And sometimes also the positivity you come with into that space, you have given them the benefit of doubt. So everything about them is amazing, even if it is the silliest of things. It's the silliest of things, but it's amazing because you have given this person the whole benefit of doubt. With time, the mystery begins to fade off. So now it's the substance that you meet. And in truth, we grow in love. We don't fall in love. We grow in love as we meet the substance of this person. That's when you get to discover who they really are, their strengths, their weaknesses, and you make the decision whether you are able to handle those imperfections, weaknesses, their frailties, and whether the strengths and the values that they represent do resonate with yours. So the idea even of, you know, that we were in love and we're falling out sometimes is warped in the beginning because we started with an attraction. That attraction makes you pay attention to this person and you begin to grow in affection with them. So when that though is established and people begin to relate over time and they're committed to each other, sometimes It's the pursuit that was driving the person. For example, a man may be showing quite some interest in you before you get together, and he gets to know, now Cutie is my girl. So there's an adrenaline that comes with him pursuing you and you seeming to be difficult to get. And once he has you, maybe he loses the adrenaline. There's no more pursuit. So he wants to pursue something else. And I'm using this, it's not like all men. I'm just using that as a hypothetical case. So maybe now this energy needs to be driven towards something else. So the distraction comes because the energy will either go into work, into the pursuit of money, his goals or something. So without knowing, there's a neglect coming on this side. The attention grows less because now this is not something to be pursued. That is a trophy that has already been gotten. So what really happens to people in what we say, you know, that the fire has gone out, is one, we lose interest. In the person. There's nothing new coming in, or rather there's nothing else to discover about this person, which is why everybody must continually improve on themselves so that there's a new version of you every day. Otherwise, at some point, you become just this plain, like a flat beer. I don't know about beer, but just a flat beer. It just becomes like a flat beer. Nothing to be discovered, nothing to be seen. The stories are the same, no growth. No interest. You go to work, you come back, you really have no conversations. That begins to flatten that. There's also the element of distractions that come in. When you're not very careful around the distractions that come into your life, it could be work, it could be friends, it could be new goals, it could be new exciting things that are showing up, it could be new exciting people coming into your life. If you're not mindful of that, you will easily get distracted, and then you will ignore something that you already have. And anything that you ignore begins to fade, fail, or it will die. There's also the thing of things that have happened to people, experiences that either they have hurt each other or somebody has gotten hurt in something, and this thing has affected how they are looking at life. They may have gone through a certain loss of a job, of a loved one, any kind of a loss, or you have hurt each other. And that means that they're emotionally depleted. So they cannot really show up in that relationship. It could also be that you have ignored certain basic things that you used to do together, that used to keep you going. Conversations, checking up on each other, good mornings and good nights, and phone calls, and hanging out, and going on dates, and finding interesting things that you would do. Sometimes when people move in together, they stop doing those things because they take each other now for granted. Why should we go on a date? We can save that money and make a meal in the house. But now one person is going to get overworked around this. And so one person will be making the meals. So it looks like, yes, we are having a good meal. But somebody's not really enjoying this meal. They cooked it. They made it. For them, that dinner represents work. So it is not really a dinner. It is work. By the time they sit there, they're not necessarily enjoying that meal. So there's several things that just come in. Sometimes it's regret. Cutie, you've been with this person, and then you start thinking, I think my ex treated me better.
Apo sana sana, CJ.
And you begin to regret. And then I don't know how life positions people in energy, that when you're in need, that's when supply shows up, and that's the time when your ex begins to check on you. That's when they're in your DM. Hi, I just came back into the country. Do you have time?
I'm just checking on you.
I'm just checking on you. So if you're not very careful,
you might fall into
draws you back. And even comparison can kill that, because you look at Bobby's life and you feel like she's doing so well. Her relationship is working so well. And then you begin to feel like your relationship is not what you asked for. So there are many things that cause people to get there. But the biggest thing is neglect, not being intentional about it.
And I love what CJ has talked about, because I feel like we are from different generations, truly. And Bobby, you have to agree with me on that, because CJ ameongelea ile relationship ya kujuana, kukatiana, and all that. Yeah, a beautiful story. But kusema tu kweli, Bobby, sai watu wako na hiyo time kweli, you get to know each other. And kwanza kuna pata amesema, oh, a man knowing that she's my girl and all that. Nowadays, do people even talk about that? Like, do people really sit down and say, oh, by the way, will you be my girlfriend? Ama watu wanajipatanga kwa situationships. You're just there, you're hanging out with someone, and the next thing you know, uko kwake, ako kwako, and that's the way relationships are. So maybe as we are talking about the causes that make easy relationship, watu wanaboeka in a relationship. So I want you to bring it in this perspective of this new generation. Because sahi hakuna time ya kujuana, Bobby. Tuseme tu ukweli. Watu wana meet leo, kesho wako kwa relationship. Next month, mtu already akona mtu hii zinashajipata, hey, by the way, I'm already pregnant and all that, and washa move in, venye amesema wacha to save stima,
rent.
to save rent, wacha to save rent to move in pamoja.
Yeah.
But maybe in this generation, what are some of the causes that zinafanya watu wanaboeka na each other haraka sana?
Tunajuana nini na nikienda Instagram ndapata information yote nataka. Nikikusearch tu hivi Insta ndo huyo anapenda kula matoke. Anapendanga kunywa kahawa pale nje, anapandanga nduthi. So unajua venenda muingiza box, namuitia kanduthi nampeleka date fulani pale kahawa. Taka nasonga. But na siku hizi hata maboya wapendi kutuzindia hata. Unakumbuka tulikuwa tunazindikishana, wacha basi nikurudishe. Tunarudi. Sasa wewe ni demu umenifikisha siwezi kwa. Tunarudi tena kutoka 5 mpaka 7 ni kuzindikisha.
Sasa hiyo venye utafika home.
Sasa hizi hata sijui ulikujaje by the way, hata sijui nani alikwambia ukam. Umekam kudu. But in all honesty, I think that there's a conversation I was having somewhere last week. About this whole child-free conversation, and something that kept coming out is that the family values are being eroded. And I kind of agree with it. I mean, it's not like in our faces like that, but Saizi had to hold a lot more value in family. And that's why it's really, really easy to walk away. That's why when I'm speaking, sengine sije uniangalia tu like, sasa mtoto aji. Anatakanga tu kuhepa vitu zikiget hard. But Saizi, I think also the illusion of options. You know, I'm thinking, I literally create the best, most amazing life for myself. Why would I allow someone to come in and start distracting this beautiful heaven that I've created? So now even working on relationships seems a bit like it's too much extra work that I don't have time for. I need to get my steps up. I need to go to the gym. I need to do yoga. I need to make sure my bills are paid. I need to there's so many things to think about. And it's not that these things were not there tene. Si ati hizi needs as kukua kitambo. It's just that even now, like the state of the economy, it's a bit harder to get that extra shilling. So honestly, focusing on things that we feel are much more a priority than working on relationships and putting in the effort. People don't realize that getting into a relationship, making babies, getting married, choosing to be with someone, it's a joint decision. And when you're solo, you can make these decisions on your own and
very easily, yes.
But when you're dating someone, you kind of have to check in na kubebana na kuendelea kusonga pamoja. And we don't like to do that because it is a lot of work, especially when you feel like the other person is dragging behind. And we don't realize that we grow in different ways. We grow at different paces. We're on different paths. And the thing of deciding to be in a relationship means that you're vowing, hey, cheki, niko na life yangu, niko na life yako, lakini si to do it together, like to songe in a direction together. People don't want to put that effort into relationships. And not to say that there are no real lovers. When we started the show, I said, let me tell you, social media ndo tunaona chaos. Kwa ground ukweli watu wanapendana.
Wanapendana?
Yes, na wale wanajali wana put in the effort. Na wale, we si unaendanga gym. Si unaenda gym na unajua watu wengine wanaenda gym. Kumaanisha sisi wote tuko lazy. Sisi wote tunakula na kulala. Kuna watu wenye maybe hawatuposti na maybe hatuwaoni, lakini kuna watu wakomboka. So I think relationships deserve the same research, intentionality, planning, thinking about it, talking, getting to know each other. And I like your question because listen, healthy relationships are boring.
They are
boring, they are peaceful, They are quiet. Hakunanga ati high highs and low lows. A lot of things are balanced out. Hata saa ingine hata si lazima mwambiane good morning, mko tu sawa. Bora unaona, sisemi msitext madam yenu good morning, lakini iko too boring and very quiet and peaceful and nice. And when you grow up in a lot of turmoil and then you come into such a relationship, it's shocking.
Yeah.
And you find these people intentionally sometimes seeking out the dopamine from a little bit of chaos. You're just having an easy day at work, dem yako anakutext. It's just funny how unajua tu bas hapo beef inaanza hata ujui nini your conversation is going to turn into. But I think relationships, regardless of the time and different generations that we're in, all sorts of relationships, I keep saying they require the same amount of effort and intentionality you put into other things that you do, because you can't try sex anymore. Hatuna hiyo luxury.
Yeah, hatuna hiyo time.
Tuko time yenye kuna vitu mingi zenye tuna deem more priority than even relationships. So that's why it needs even extra thought, extra planning into it. You literally have to think about it. I was having a conversation with my mom about how a baby is made, or how Roberta was made. And she told me, she was a nurse.
I love that conversation.
So she told me for her to have me, I was planned to the T.
Wow.
She planned me like alijua atakuwa pregnant mpaka lini, atanizaa lini, atatake break lini, ataresume kazi lini. Like she really planned me like a business.
I'm shocked.
So I was a very wanted baby. I was very intentional, and you can see it in the way she loves me, in the way she takes care of me. Hata tuboeke aje na tuboeane aje. Kuna kwanga tuna. I love giving her as an example, and I know you might say, that's your mother. Listen, being in a relationship with your mother is not automatic, or loving your mother and you guys being friends, it's not automatic. It also takes intentionality, checking in, loving each other, growing together, holding space for each other, waiting for each other, being patient. Because sometimes you realize, even as you're hanging around people in the world, you could be older than someone, but you feel someone younger is smarter than you, like way smarter than you. Or you could see someone who's richer than you, or you could see, so tuko different, tunaweza kwa tuko same na same capability emotionally ama intellectually, but when it comes to growth, that's why you have to have grace. And someone put me to the test about this. I have a friend who I was really mad at them for, you know, horrible communication, their horrible communication skills. And I realized I was judging them from where I am at with communication. Nashanga, sasa hiki mtu mbona tu akiniambii, mbona aniongeleshi. Na realize namjudge according to what I would do. So the best I can do is either accept them the way they are with their bad communication, be patient, and wait for the realization to come to them that, you know, I need to do better, or just teach them. Because the people who love us, that's what they do. If I come and say, you know, QT, I've been struggling with gym, I know if you don't pay a membership for me, or you don't buy for me those workout clothes, you will carry me along. There is some effort you will put into making sure that I'm joining you towards your growth. So while I know that relationship sizes in Sambaratika, I'm also very aware that there's so many people who are putting in the intentional effort. And I mentioned that relationships are boring so that nobody gets scared. In case you're in a relationship somewhere and you're wondering, it's better, trust me. And this is in life in general. My boring life has saved me from a lot of things.
True.
A lot of ningekuwa kama shida mingi sana. Ningekuwa kama shida mingi sana kama singekuwa boring. Najijua. So kama uko kwa relationship flani yenye metulia, sisemi ati hakuna excitement ever, but like you guys are just okay, you're peaceful, you're fine, please cherish it, and don't walk out of that space unless, I mean, you need to, but destroy such a good thing because you might be yearning for chaos, or you might be yearning for ups and downs. Alafu also, msijicompare na sisi social media, venye sijui amesema unaona Roberta, sijui amefanya nini ama ameenda wapi. Hizo vitu hazikuangi ukweli all the time. So just live your life, take care of your relationship, and don't compare. I like everything CJ said, actually. Do not compare yourself to anyone. You don't know what is happening beyond closed doors. Maybe we're posting happiness on Instagram, but we fight daily. But how are you going to know? You don't live in my building.
And you've actually triggered a question that I'm about to ask CJ about your story ya regret. Unajua pia CJ alisema story ya regret and all that, and she has talked about like mkimit na mse. Unajua kwanza what you've said is really important. Hiyo wenye watu wanaita boring ndio actually peace.
Hapo ndio ina bamba.
Mimi venye nilianza kulala saa 1 na kuamka 4, watu wanasema ni boring life, but imenisaidia na imenisave a lot of things. But talking about regret, CJ, maybe hata kwa relationship, for example, our goals might not be aligned, but tukiingia kwa hiyo relationship, you said people grow in love, people grow in relationships. So for example, nimekuja kwa relationship, my life is crazy, it's busy and all that, but for example, the man now anataka to settle down, anataka watoi, but it wasn't at my top list. Then I decide to like give it up all and say, by the way, tapata watoi juu nampenda. Na kama hiyo ndio kitu ita make happy, I should actually do that. Do you feel some things like those are some of the factors that actually affect relationships? Ndio inaleta sasa hizi mambo zote za regret and all that, because sometimes unapata mtu ana sacrifice everything for that relationship, but in the long run someone would come and ask you, did I tell you to do that for me? You understand? They throw it back in your face and it becomes a problem.
Yeah, so let me first comment on something Bobby has talked about, the healthy relationships. I believe that the healthy has also some element of healthy conflict. The healthy conflict is when you're fighting for the relationship, not fighting each other. So it's not the absence of conflict, it is you want the relationship to get better. So whether you argue or you disagree, it is for the betterment of the relationship. So somebody who maybe is having a disagreement with somebody else, as long as you also keep objective, like we're not getting verbal abuse, you're not emotionally going to abuse this person, physically abuse them, but we're fighting for the relationship. We want it to work. We may argue about savings. We may be arguing about investment or growth or spending time together. That's a healthy conflict. It becomes unhealthy when it is personal attacks. Right, so that somebody doesn't get out because there was accountability required. They say, Bobby said it's all peaceful. This is not peaceful. You know, sometimes people like to run out of stuff. They'll take your thing out of context and run with it.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting for the relationship, that's healthy. But you also need to have some rules of engagement around conflicts. Things you can say, things you can do, how you handle that when you talk about it, so that if maybe we're disagreeing about something now, I shouldn't bring up something that happened 3 years ago. That's not being objective. Or if you raise something with me, I don't say, you also did this.
Women were very guilty of
struggle kidogo. What do you mean not bring up stuff from 3 years ago?
So remain objective. That's when people, and we should talk about that one time, how to have a healthy conflict. Because conflict is unavoidable, but you just need to know how to handle it. But coming back to the thing of the regrets, you know, it is not good for you to make sacrifices hoping that your sacrifices are going to make the other person appreciate you better. That should not be the case. It should be because this is something that you also would want to do. So if you've used the example of, you know, having children, and if babies were not at the top of your list of priorities, and then you decide, I'm going to have the babies because he wants that, that's already wrong motivation behind it, because we're not very sure you want this. So anything that would go wrong with this process, you will begin to feel like you did this for them. This is not what you wanted to do. And when you don't own the process, you easily abort it. Not necessarily, you know, like the removal of the birth. I'm talking about generally, anything. And the aborting it, first of all, happens mentally. You disengage. if you did not own something, anytime you face trouble, you disengage. So if you're in a relationship that you didn't really want to be in, and maybe it was your parents or your friends who pushed you into it, the moment you start having issues, you disengage. You say, but I really didn't want this guy. It's Bobby who was pushing me into this. So you'll stay, maybe physically, but you're disengaged emotionally because now you want to frustrate it, want to run it down so that the other person gets out. So we should stop this thing of thinking, if I do this for them, then they will be happier. One of the things that we deal with in life and relationships is changing needs. That what may be good to somebody when they are 30 may not be what is their priority at 35. So you have laid your life down for them at their 30 over something that they were excited about at 30, which you aren't. At 35, this is not even something they're excited about anymore. So you are left with this. You're left with this baggage. Children are not things you wish away. It's not a house you will shift. It's not a car you will change or sell. It's not a job you can walk out from. That's a lifetime. And you never stop being a mother or a father. Even when they get to 70, to 80, to 90, it will never stop. So that's a decision that you must also want. So that if this person ever walks away, you will never regret having children. You know, there's so many mothers who talk about, you changed my life. If I didn't have you, I would have been better. They tell their children those kind of stuff, that if I didn't have you, my life would have gotten better. It's just because I have you kids. That's the part of regret. And the thought that, you know, they laid their lives down, they gave their whole time to raise the kids while the man was having fun or building his life elsewhere. So don't get into that unless you also feel, I want children. I think relationships and the way now we've talked about, it's getting a bit crazier. People meet in the morning and then they start living together in the evening.
Spontaneous.
And it's true, by the way.
No, it's so crazy.
But it's true.
It's so
I would
crazy.
really love it.
It's so crazy. You know, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you, I like that you started by making comments about my my position, and you said we come from different generations.
Yes.
Every generation has had its own issues, and then the needs are generally basic, but it's methodology that has been different, and culture and customs. So there are things that people had to pretend that they were shy about in the past. You know, you had to pretend you were shy about. But today, you go straight
on to the point.
Straight. The person meets you now, and they're talking about the bedroom now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole different world. My goodness. It's a whole different world. Like, there's no trophy. It's here. And you see psychologically what that has done even to girls.
Yeah.
There is the feeling that there isn't much that you can do because the options are very limited. So it's more of take it or leave it. Because if you don't, the next person is going to have it. And so there's a certain kind of subtle pressure
that
is on ladies internally building up, so they feel they need to jump in because this might be the only opportunity or option. So we also need to handle ladies about, you know, self-esteem, self-confidence.
Yeah, we do.
Learning to live in the boredom that Bobby was talking about, that you don't have to rush for things just because somebody's selling it. But many people have done that thing of laying down their goals, their lives, just let off opportunities to go, and they thought they were doing this for the other person. So don't do it for the other person. Do it for you and for both of you, which means you must have conversations. I was going to say that there need to be conversations about the dreams and the goals that both of you have, and what common goals you will have, so that you see whether you share values and you share a vision where you want to go to this, whether you want to go to the same place. And if it is as transactional as it is right now, then let's talk about it as a business. You're coming into this business, I'm coming in. How much capital does the business require? How much are we giving? What are we doing? So this is what you want right now. It's not my priority right now. How do we work around that? So you want kids in 2026. I don't want kids yet, maybe 2030. So can we push this so that I pursue my dreams, and maybe 2028 we consider that, because children will still be children.
Yeah.
There's no emergency that they must come right now. What need is that being filled with? So if you were able to talk about those goals and then come with a common one, like these guys are trying to come up with a NADCO report. So if you were able to come with a common one and agree on that, and both of you own it, ask every question you need to ask. Kitty, you ask every question.
Yes.
Ask everything that could go wrong, so that when you make this decision, whether you're quitting school for your partner, or you're giving up your job for them, or you're putting your money into something they want to do, when it goes wrong, you will not feel like you were cheated out of it.
And I like the fact that you've said we should ask about everything that could go wrong.
Right.
And that is a conversation that most people don't want to have. They're uncomfortable.
Right.
And if someone really loves you, as they say, they should be able to sit down in an uncomfortable situation, right?
Right.
I like that. And coming to you, Bobby, this question I'll ask to both of you because I want to hear, because we all come from different generations. So, Bobby, kuna Gen Z amekaa mahali, young generation tu amekaa mahali, ameboeka na mse na 3 months into the relationship, wachana na kina CJ hapa 20 kusonga juu, 3 months 6 months into the relationship, mse ashaboeka. Like, hai, ako zile za, kwani nili make the wrong decision, kwani niliharakisha, and as you said, kuna line, kuna ka pressure fulani, alafu pia imetufanya nowadays, like ladies, you know, kitambo ladies tulikuanga, like una feel, maka unaambia, playing hard to get, unge play hard to get a whole year, na bado that man would have waited for you, saa hii, manze hata siku moja wezi play hard to get. Vile CJ amesema kuna ka pressure fulani kako. Like kuna wase wamepanga line kama udai, unaweza move on tu kesho atakuwa tuna mtu mwingine. You understand what I mean? But I would really love to know. Ebu patia our young generation hizo tips za kurikindle love from your own point of view. I would really love to hear, like kurikindle love 3 months ameboeka, 6 months ameboeka, by the time hata kufika 1 year nowadays crazy. It's an achievement. Watu wa celebrate 6 months wanakata keki. Tuko 6 months the relationship because it's such a big deal nowadays. Yeah. But kuna watu wana celebrate hata 40 years in marriage, 30 years in marriage, jwali kapale. So naweza taka kusikia that from your own point of view, alafu pia CJ atatupatia from his own point of view.
Do you want me to answer as who I am now or as who I was before I met CJ?
I think before you met CJ.
Okay.
Juu CJ amekusafisha sana.
Manze.
Hata nimemiss kusikia ukibani.
You know, my thinking from the depths of my heart.
Bobby, tukua tu raw and honest about this. Tukua tu raw kabisa.
I'm thinking 3 months. It's just 3 months. Like, just cut your losses. Like, if you're in a real, okay, unajua 3 months ndo saa zile mnakuanga na excitement, saa zile vitu ni new, saa zile everyone is showing their best face, everyone is trying to show up in their best way. So if you're bored here, if you're bored in this season, I don't know, maybe CJ will teach us, but I feel like hapo ni easy kukat losses. Unasema tu mtu wangu manze, it's been real.
Adios.
Peace. Till next time. Maybe tunaweza patana. So let's go more mature, you know? And we're ready to rekindle and work on things. But now we're young. I mean, alafu unajua kitambo. Also, I feel like, hata sisemi ati kitambo time ya CJ, mi nikiwa maybe primary or like secondary school, kitambo bado kulikuwa na hiyo sense of, you know, I like you, I'm going to marry you, and we're kids. There was conversation around,
I'm gonna wait for you,
I want to be with you for a very long time. But saizi hakuna mambo kama hizo, like ni a bit different.
Yeah.
So I feel like the erosion of the family values I was talking about, you know, you knew hadi mkikuwa mnakatiana at 16, you knew there's a possibility this could end up in marriage or forever. Who's going to think about that at 16 right now, honestly? Even I feel like telling someone to be thinking about marriage at 16 is a bit crazy. I don't know, but like I feel like if it's too early, it's in the honeymoon stage and you guys are bored and tired, and honestly, there's no source of excitement coming from this relationship. Probably you can weigh and see, do I want to do another 3 months of the same thing? And this is how I assess myself on a personal level. I ask myself, do I want to be arguing about the same thing in 3 months? Because we've been arguing about the same thing for 3 months.
And that's what happens.
Come December, is this a conversation I still want to be having? Kwanza saizi unajua mimi niko hiyo age yenye wazee wanaanza kuangalia. So niki waste time na mtu sana for 7 months, hapo wenyewe si poa.
Itakuwa hard.
Si poa. Afadhali tujue what we are doing in these 3 months. Kama haiezi.
Vile CJ amesema.
Na ni sawa. Atuachani in bad light, in bad faith. It's just, I'm bored. This is boring. But in the same breath, wacha ni come back to my higher self.
Sasa turudi.
I think that sitasema ya 3 months. Wacha sasa nisonge maybe further, maybe let's say 2-3 years.
Yeah, man.
And you guys have actually started. By the way, this advice I'm giving is not applicable to any sort of abusive relationship. I'm not talking about if you are being abused emotionally, financially, physically, nothing. This is for the healthy lovers who love to talk to each other and they have healthy conflict and they listen and they really want to work on their relationships. I think it's worth sticking around and seeing how to rekindle. And now to come back to rekindle, this is a whole spectrum because there's so many aspects of life. Kuna side ya the romantic aspect of the relationship, kuna side ya work, kuna side ya how you guys are relating with each other even on a platonic level. So I think you need first of all to remember that as long as you're working on yourself, you're consistently changing and healing and growing and doing better, even if you're not seeing the change right now. Kuna vitu fulani nilikuwa nimemanifest 2 months ago, happen, nimeziachieve this month. And 2 months ago, they were just an idea. So I'm thinking if I had someone in my life who is not moving, not trying to grow, they'd be wondering, udem ameachieve hizi vitu, na anaweza feel some type of way. So I think it's important to understand that growth lazima ni inevitable. For as long as you're working on yourself, even in the smallest way, you're going to experience beautiful changes in your life. So once you remember we are growing, even if not at the same pace, or not always in the same direction, you have to account for that. You have to allow for space for that. And then now, because of these changes, you guys, mnaona hizi wacha nite AGM. See annual, maybe mnaweza zifanya weekly. Easy meetings za ku catch up, like, what do you need? Am I loving you correctly? Do you feel like I'm giving you attention? What more do you need from me? What less do you want me to do? Do you need me to stop cooking in the house so we can go out more? Do you want more money from me? Tell me what you need.
I like that.
Do you need more attention? Do you need me to take time off work so we can just chill? What do you need? Easy check-ins are important. And we do them on a friendship basis. We literally do that. Even if we don't say, tomorrow we are having a meeting, we kind of find ways to figure out, will you be available over the weekend? So how come when it comes to actual romantic relationships, with a romantic partner that you want to last long with, we're not putting these plans in place? So hapo kwa rekindling, other than, being consciously aware, I think it's important to be very intentional in your planning. Involve your partner. And this one, I say to people who are like me, especially. Me, I have my life going on, whether there's people around me following me or not. So sometimes I tend to forget to carry other people along with me or to hold other people's hand as I'm moving along. But once you're in a relationship, iyo lazima ufanye. You have to make sure ukisonga una check in na mse wako, uko aje, unafilaje, unataka nini, unataka tufanye aje. Planning. And something else, try new stuff out in all dockets of your relationship. Try if you know what I'm talking about. Try new things out. Things that make both of you happy, of course. Things that might spice up your relationship. Maybe you guys eat ugali all the time. Leo mpeleke akule chipo za mama nani hapo nje za 60, honestly. Aita hat, maybe amekuwa kiotea hizo machips akipita hapo na wewe tu hujaifikiria kumbaia. And this goes in both ways in the relationship. Not just one person receiving, it has to be both of you pouring into each other consistently. Other than the check-ins and trying new stuff and working on yourself to be more conscious and available is stick the course of your own life. Remember, before this relationship, you're an individual. Anything that comes in is coming to complement you, to complement the life you've already or are already building for yourself. This helps you focus a lot. And being focusing on yourself does not mean abandoning your partner. It just means remembering. And I like that CJ brought up, ata hiyo part ya decision making, wase feel scorned na regrettable because they're thinking, I did this for you, I married you, I bought this house for us. Do these things for you also. See, even you deserve that nice house. See, even you deserved to be loved nicely. You deserved like a nice wedding. You deserved to be loved and shown off and all these things. Make sure your needs are also being met in the relationship. And then when you're walking out, inevitably, if you decide to, you're not carrying the scorn of, this girl made me buy this car, this girl made me do this. Bro, if you wanted to, it's fine and it's okay. And just to finish up my point, love is embarrassing, it's cringy, it's weird, it's different, it's quirky, it's not prim and proper and all these things. Utajipata unafanya vitu zingi. Umeona watu wanabeba pania chapo kutoka Kitengela hadi Rongai. Kwa sababu ya love anaenda kupikia mtu wake chapati 30. Na amepanda matatu na hiyo pan. Unajua venye pania chapo kwa ile zito. Kama watu wanafanya hivyo, hiyo inakuonyesha nini? Mapenzi yako. Watu wanapendana. Usifikirie ati method yako ya kupendana cause ni different, ni weird. We stick the course. Maybe you're boring do italeta the most fruits. And I say this because even in my life generally, not even romantic, just in my life, there's a lot of peace. There's a lot of quiet. There's a lot of moments where I'm able to remember to be grateful. And why? It's because I was in so much chaos for so long. I'm able to notice a big difference. Yani, I'm able to sit in the quiet and be like, weh, hallelujah, amen. Thank you for this peace and quiet, and I love it. So look out for those. Those are the ways I'd say you can try and rekindle your relationship.
I love everything you've said, and you've just triggered something. Sometimes unakwaga kwa relationship una feel mtu anakupull back. I've been there, una feel ni kama ukiwa na umse unataka ku make decisions, unataka ku move mbele, na hata una feel kama hangekuwa ningeenda mbali sana, lakini hapo hapa na feel anani drag, na feel lazima nimuulize, naweza buy land, naweza buy gari, naweza buy phone, and I feel like ataniambia hapana, I maintain kwanza tufanye mambo zingine. Maybe you can comment on that, and also from your own point of view. How sasa hii ni expert, sasa tuko class, mambo na rekindle love kwa relationship. Please tufunze CJ, tufunze kuvumilia na kunyamaza.
You know, I love how Bobby mixes this sophisticated girl and the ghetto girl.
I know, right?
She switches from USIU to ghetto. Very interesting. First, you asked about the thing of when you're bored in 3 months. It may just be that at that particular point when you started that relationship, you were either vulnerable or excited about something that was not really the substance, and you got into it and realized all you saw was all there was. There was nothing else. You're trying to peel the
layers.
the lemon, sorry, the onion, rather, and there's nothing else. Nothing else in there. So sometimes people get bored because of that. That this thing looked very attractive. The person was speaking so well, looked so good, and you thought there was more. Then you come in, and that's it. So there's nothing else to dig. If that is the case, you know, we can't get people to get stuck to wrong decisions sometimes, and especially if it is in, it's dealing with things that are very important to you. If it's the wrong decision, you need to accept you made a wrong decision, got into the wrong thing, and you can always
get on the next train.
Yeah, you can get off. So we're not saying that you die in everything. No, you feel this is just not going to work because it doesn't sit with you. So that's where some of this, what you're asking me now, that sometimes you feel you have to keep on checking with this person. You want to buy land, you want to do this, but you feel they will not be on the same flow with you. You see, these are things you notice from the very beginning. When you're coming in and you know that you're driven, you know that you love investment, you love going to the gym, you love, you talk about self-improvement, Bobby talks about that all the time. And you listen to this person's conversations and they're not there, that they're actually trying to use a relationship to get comfort as they mark time. You know for sure you're not going anywhere with this thing. And this person will always be threatened by your progress. I need to say this to ladies who are very progressive.
Please
you
do.
have to have a man who is very secure.
True.
Because anytime a lady begins to make progress, men feel threatened. and they feel that this girl will outgrow me and she will start needing somebody else. So if this guy has nothing going on for himself, nothing that he's doing, nothing that is taking his time, nothing that he's exerting his energy towards, nothing that he is building and his focus, the next thing will be, he will either be trying to keep around you, or you will have to keep dragging him. So you have to make the choice whether that's something you're going to do all your life, or motivate them. They'll turn into motivational speakers. You've got to tell them
What's
every
up?
day, babe, you can do it. I believe in you. You have brains. You can
Preach,
do this.
CJ. You're talking
And
to
this
me.
is why, you know, you hear stories of ladies taking loans and giving their guys, hoping that the person will start up a business or do something.
Jikute.
You are trying to water a dead plant. You need to have someone who's driven by their own dreams.
Yes.
If you're progressive, if you're the type that is okay with just hanging out in the we used to call it cubes, you know, you sit in the room the whole day watching Netflix, that's fine. If you want to grow yourself, find somebody who is busy. Busy with their life, because then they will challenge you, they'll motivate you, they'll inspire you, and they will never feel threatened by whatever progress that you're making. So all these things, Cutie, they start wrong.
Yeah.
You start by hoping that you're going to change this person to become the person you want them to be. Pull them into your business, pull them into your stuff, keep on pushing them and say, you know, you're the head, make the decisions. The guy has never made decisions about his time, about his money, about anything around him. How is he going to run this? How is he going to, where is he even getting the mindset for this? So I don't think that those things just happen. They start right from the very beginning. So in rekindling, you know, retrace your steps. Where did you lose the fire? When did things stop being the way they are? If you're very honest, you will get to know. It may have been when something happened, somebody lost something, you had a fight, a need that was not met, a conversation that was never completed. Something happens to begin making things go that direction. It may have been when something was introduced, maybe money came in, a new job showed up, an old friend came in, a new friend came in. If you're very honest, you will find where things began to change. And then ask yourself, where are we now? Where are we now? Because we're all growing, right? So is it that there are needs that are not being met right now? Talking about the stuff, Bobby is saying, you know, there are things that spice up. Some people grow into a place, then they begin to feel like, okay, well, now I need to spice up my life. I want to do certain things. But the other person is stuck to the old version of you. You met in a church, you're all very conservative, very traditional. Then now, 10 years down the line, this person is exposed to certain things. He's thinking, can we try this? The other one is like, are you out of your mind? Did I get into this with the right person? So find out where you are right now. Then find out, what is it that interests you right now? What do you need to correct in the past, and what do you need to do right now that will rebuild and rekindle? Third thing is find out where you both want to go. Maybe today, where I want to go is not where you want to go. And maybe even if we now want to build this, it's just not going to work because you're not trying to go the same direction. So 1, retrace. 2, check on where you are right now. If you retrace, you will find where you lost it, where things went wrong. Maybe somebody's need was not met and they decided they will find it elsewhere. Maybe they were not finding attention. They were not getting the affection. Maybe it was a sexual need, maybe financial. Maybe somebody feels like I gave up my life to come into yours and you have not been treating me like we are partners in this thing. Retrace that, then find out where we are right now. Maybe before, what somebody wanted was just you hanging out with them in the house. Right now, they want you to take them on trips. Or maybe they will now need a house. And you'll be saying, look, I'm loving you, we're doing dinners. Maybe they're looking for a house and security because they've got children. And then look at where you want to go into the future. Right.
I will not water down what CJ has said. Amemaliza, ameifunga. Big up Ken Washiro. Alikuwa anasikiza. Big up Lennox and Lindsay. Bobby, thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Same place, same time. Have a lovely Tuesday.